Hello, folks. Welcome back to VCV Rack Instruments and Effects. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore of the Wayfarer Project. In this episode, I decided what I wanted to do was to kind of share something that I've been working on a little bit here. I've been trying to put together some patches and stuff that would aid in like relaxation and sleep. Been having a little bit of trouble sleeping lately, and I've had experience in the past in working with sounds for meditation and for relaxation and sleep. And I guess as an artist, I want to make some new stuff. And, when I hear some of my older stuff, I get to thinking too much and it's hard to relax. It's almost like I made it, so I'm thinking about it while I'm listening to it instead of really relaxing. But in any case, I want to keep working on it. And, I thought I'd make an episode of showing some techniques for putting together a patch that would help with creating ambient music for relaxation, or it could be used for other purposes, but the overall idea is it is ambient. It's more of a background, not foreground music, but also sound experience. In many cases, you're not hearing a clear melody necessarily, or you're hearing things in patterns such that it's not something for engaged listening, maybe, or maybe it is. Depends on how minimal you like your music. So in any case, I thought I'd share what I'm working on, and there'll probably be more episodes in this overall series in which I explore this type of approach for an episode. But in any case, something I've been working on, so I thought I'd share it. In general, I would like to start releasing some episodes, well, not necessarily episodes, but more like sound and sound experiences for relaxation, like on its own separate playlist. I already have some things with visualizations and so forth, but now that I've been working with VCV Rack, I'd like to make some more of those. If you have any interest in that, please leave a comment and let me know, because that's something I am really thinking of exploring to see how many people out there like me could use a little assistance with relaxation and sleep. So, in any case, if I keep talking like this episode will turn into a relaxation and sleep episode. So anyway, let's get on with what I've been working on. I'm going to show you the patch, and then I'll look at the different elements in the patch individually and put it together with you. All right, folks, here we go. Okay, so here's a patch that I put together earlier tonight while I was listening to another stream with folks talking on a panel and things like that. And I just started piecing things together, and the voices kind of worked well with this. But first of all, I'm going to give you a tour of what I've got here. Then I'll play a little bit of it, and then I'll kind of build something similar piece by piece, so you can see how components fit together and see what things you like, what things maybe you're not as into. But up here I have the shebang modules. One is the node, NutriNode they call it, and another one is like a Cosmos. Basically this is sending pitch and trigger to open the gates for the four main instruments that I have here. This drone from MSC Hack, audible instruments, macro oscillators are the other three instruments, but I have different sounds called up on each one, and each of these has their own envelope. The drone and the three macro oscillators each have their own envelope, so the triggers are triggering the envelopes, and then the envelopes are connected to the mixer down here, where that's where the actual envelope is applied to the sound. The audio goes into one channel, and then That channel has a CV input for level that the envelopes go into. I'm using Bifaco ADSRs here. And they all go into this Mind Meld mixer. Here's the mixer itself. It ends right about there. I highlighted it red. And then this is an additional module for the mixer that gives you aux outputs, aux sends and receives, which I have going to this reverb right here. And then there's individual knobs here for each channel. And it automatically wirelessly integrates with the mixer here. So it's just like adding aux send and receive capabilities to this mixer. And then the main outs from the mixer going into the audio output here. Here is just a reverb from VCV Rack. This reverb module is the only thing in this setup that is non-free. This comes with Rack 2 Pro, but there are other reverb modules out there in the overall free community that you could probably find and utilize. For example, I just searched for REV here. The RCM module right here is quite good. That might be something to check out. I know that one's free. Soundstage is not free. That's also a Rack 2 Pro. Well, it's not. It's part of the premium bundle if you actually get Rack 2 Pro plus Soundstage, or you can get it separately. But yeah, the RCM is free. There's a spring reverb from Bifaco, although I wouldn't really use that in this case. This is more of an ambient reverb. And right now, the VCV reverb is working great for me. So if you are interested in getting Rack 2 Pro, it is a great reverb. So anyway, let me turn up the volume so you can hear what's happening. Now, this may be a little bit... I know this is ambient music. It's intended for relaxation and so forth. But with all the elements going through full force right away, that's not the way it's really intended to be heard. It's meant to be heard little by little as you add them, and then gradually build up to where the full texture of all four instruments are going at the same time. There is actually a fifth instrument, actually. It's the wind down here, the winds module from MSC Hack. So anyway, let me gradually turn this up. Okay, so I'm going to fade this out, and I'm going to start with a patch that's almost blank. I have a few things in it, so it's you don't have to wait too long for me to get building. But I'm going to open up a different patch here and use a lot of these same elements to talk about different things, like some options along the way. Because obviously it's one of those things where you do expect in ambient music for there to be some repetition and so forth, but also some transformation over time. You don't want the same exact idea repeating over. And in that result that I had there, we do get a bit of that. And I'm going to talk about ways to vary that up a little bit. Okay, so anyway, here we are. Here's our Mind Meld mixer. And it is a free brand of modules. There's an 8-channel and a 16-channel. And since I only need 8 channels here, I'm using the 8-channel version of the aux send extension. You look in the library, for example, they appear something like this. This one and this one, the extension right next to it. Now, last time we did use an MSC Hack mixer that also had aux sends, but they were built right in. And here's like the 9-channel version down here. That could be used just as well. It has all the same things, and the aux send portion is built into the mixer. But mind meld, at least some of the things look a little bit bigger visually. It's a little bit easier to see. And one advantage is if you need to, mind meld has like poly inserts where basically there's a module or a couple modules from mind meld that you can use. For example, there's one here that is an envelope, and there's another here that is a parametric EQ, where you could pop one of these in and hook it up using just one polyphonic cable and basically link in the inserts. And then what that gives you is like 8 different parametric EQs out of one module that you can put on each channel. That's one power that the MSC Hack mixer does not have, that mind meld does. So I might employ that. I'm not sure. There's probably a lot to cover here, so I won't do that, but that's another advantage to using that. But I might as well throw in here, real quick here, wind. Just type the word wind and you get winds with a Z here that gives you wind sounds from MSC Hack. I mentioned this in the last episode, using it for a different purpose there. Well, still for the same purpose of sounding like wind. Whoa, sorry about that. One warning about this one. It comes in strong, so you'll, yeah, in general, I notice I don't have to have the fader up too high on this one ever whenever I use it. So I'm going to gradually shift this up. And I'll probably just leave it there for now. There are some controls here of seed values for the controlling the randomness of the wind. Sometimes I just like to put in little drawings. Let me put in the lighted up section here. I'm just going to put in a little bit of a drawing here. There we go. I'm making a little Wayfarer W. Except if there was 5 columns, it would be able to be a W, but for now it's just got to be kind of more like a V. All right, there we go. Let's finish these 2. I know you don't need me spending all my time on that. But you can hit the random button here, get different ones, try them out. And you have a multiplier here. There we go. That slowed it down. The random generation or semi-random generation of values. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Never have too much wind. I've also made wave sounds, not using this module, but some noise generator modules. But that's a whole different episode because that took me a few hours to get wave sounds to sound just right. And even then, it's not like super completely realistic, but it sounded more organic and not like too regular. Like this here, the winds don't sound overly regular. It sounds a little bit organic. Doesn't necessarily sound like real wind, but it's close. Now, over here, I do have the aux sends going into the reverb, which is stereo, and then the returns coming back into the aux returns here for aux 1. And this is your masters for aux 1. This is all part, as you see here, I highlighted the main mixer. This stuff is all a separate module, but it does take the signal from this module, sends out the auxes, returns them, and then you have here your knobs for each channel. So we're on channel 1. Turn up the send for aux 1. So now I do see signal here, so we are getting send. It is fairly expansive enough that may not sound like a huge difference, but in the headphones right now that I'm listening to this from, yeah, I do hear a bit of an expansion. And it looks like, it might be going out on a ledge here, but it looks like the aux sends and returns are not pre-fader. Because if I turn up the fader here, I see the aux level going up. So your fader levels do affect how much is being sent from the channel to the reverb independently of this. Well, basically they add together. How about I send it all? There we go. And I have my reverb, the mix level, turned all the way up because I am using it as an aux send, where basically you get a mix of dry and wet. I normally prefer to use pre-fader, but I have not found an option for pre-fader here, unless it's in the right-click menu. Let me see. Aux sends, pre-insert, pre-fader is unchecked. We can check it, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to turn the send down before I make it pre-fader. Because right now this fader is keeping the wind from being way too much. So I'm going to ease it in. Aux sends, pre-fader. Okay. Yeah, that's much stronger. Now those levels can be adjusted later as I add more things. Anyway, let's add our first instrument here. Now, in mine, I used drones. That's D-R-O-N-E-Z. It's from the MSC hack module libraries. And I do include links to libraries that I use in these videos in the description, or at least I started doing that in more recent episodes. I got to go back to the previous ones and add that as well. And also the links on my website where you can find my videos as well at thewayfarerproject.com. Now let me do this. Let me set up like the same pattern here. I know we're not hearing anything yet, but maybe we'll randomly find one. But let me give it the ADSR as well. because this Nutri node sends out, for its color-coded nodes, it sends out trigger and pitch. So what I'm going to do is actually turn off all the nodes except for one. This is how I started when originally making this, although I only used a few of these here, like these 4. This one's new, but it's not even being touched by this node, so we're not going to hear it. So this is sending out a pitch trigger to each of these nodes. And the pitch is selected by a combination between the mode that I have selected up here, the pitch class it's on, in this case a C. I think we're on C Ionian, which is C major. And I have here set to position as pitch. So right now this is a higher pitch than this, and this one's higher than this, and this one's higher than this. You'll hear them come in when we hook things up. So I am going to hook up, and we're doing red here. I'm going to hook this up here to the pitch input here. And I'm going to hook up using a green cable for gating here. But these are actually trigger outs. You see trig. So I'm going to put this on trigger mode. Now we're not going to hear it at first. I'm going to make the envelope in just a moment so I get the right sustain level. But the envelope's output is going to go here. The CD input for the level on the mixer, and I'll take the audio out from drones and put it into the left and right channels here. Now already on headphones I can hear, I heard a little snap when I hooked that up, but I hear some snaps. That's the closed envelope here just being triggered, and all you hear are snaps. We don't hear a drone yet. We need to give this some settings, like a gradual attack, I think. Gradual release. Let's turn it down. Let's turn it down. Make the release longer. Give it a little decay. Now let's randomize this to see if we can get a better tone. I can also go here to red and select an octave for it. Maybe go down an octave. Let's keep trying. No. Maybe it is a little too low. Not on that tone. But, yeah, that sounds a little better. Now we're going to add a little reverb to it by sending it out from channel 2. So we now hear the drone. I'm going to try it up an octave and then we'll see. Maybe slow it down a little bit. There's BPM here. There you go. That's... Put it down the octave again. So it's going bum, ba da dum, using these nodes here. It's just kind of a cool way of establishing some pitch relationships and without it being so note heavy or graphic notation or dials. It's just another way of looking at it that allows me to maybe do simpler things and not be struggling with myself as much. Maybe we could create more space with this. I'm going to go here to BPM, right click on it. We're at 15. Let's do 10. Now, the reason why I have this up here is do some transformations on what I have here. And in the original, I never really did a transformation on the drone. So maybe we can add a filter on it so that there are some changes over time. Let me see. I guess we can always go with the VCV VCF and see what we get here. I'm going to turn this all down a little bit because otherwise it'll make me speak louder and you probably don't want that. This VCF is mono. Actually, I'm going to use one I really like from RPJ here. Here, it's a low-pass filter, a Butterworth low-pass filter, third order. Pop you in there, pop you in there, then pop the outputs here, just to get a little more variation. There, and now we have it nice and dulled, and we can see here how much we want it to be able to rise in cutoff frequency to allow more frequencies back in. And then that can be controlled over here, where these nodes are zipping around the generators here, and you can take their X and Y coordinates as an average. I think we might do that. So the X coordinates as an average are now providing information here as far as our cutoff frequency is concerned. So it's not going to stay the same all the time. Maybe let's give it a little more freedom and turn this up a bit so it can go higher and cut off. There we go. And the right one is separate from the left one, so they'll have, although they should be receiving the same, no, they're receiving different values because the one is receiving X coordinates, one's receiving Y. Maybe I should give them the same values. So sometimes it's muted. Sometimes not as much. So it's changing over time, but not with too much regularity. Here, I'm going to turn this up a little bit so it's not as low of a cutoff frequency. So it's not always so pinched off. And of course, you could do gradual adjustments to these dials while recording this or playing it, and you get gradual transformation doing that, as long as you're careful. Alrighty. Now what I also like for ambience is a pluck sound from the macro oscillator from Audible Instruments. I'm just dragging up on the dial here until I find pluck. Now, I'm doing this as a demonstration. I'm not doing this as an ambience piece. I would definitely want to know what parameters I want to have before popping it in on the fly on an ambience piece. I'd probably have it already in, mind you, and just basically turn up the fader on the mixer. But at least right now, since this is more of a tutorial than anything else, I'll go over this a bit. So we're going to trigger the pluck here. Volts go in there. I'm going to turn this fader all the way down here and then hook it up. You could just go into the left input at the top. There's nothing coming in the right. It considers that a mono input and it'll pan it stereo. We're not hearing it yet because we still have to hook up the rest. This is going to be the cyan or aqua colored node here. And once again, put this on trigger. Channel 3. There we go. So we're hooked up now. Just need to give this, it's got to have a pluck attack, so quick attack. But the release needs to be long enough to hear it. All right, there we go. Turned it up. So here we are, dry. I'm not getting anything. Let's see here. The pluck might also need a trigger input here. Some of the sounds on the macro oscillator need to have the trigger. Some do not. The pluck, I believe, does. Still not getting anything. Okay. Well, I have when I built it before, so I know that I can again. It's just something not hooked up right. I know. The node. I never put it back in. Click this. There we go. There we are. It's dry, so... It's interesting how the pluck is coming after the sounds. Let me turn off the trig. Maybe it didn't need that. Sounds like it does need it. I don't hear the pluck now. I hear sustain, but no pluck. So let's put this trigger back in. There we go. Now let's turn up the send on it. This is channel 3. Now let's turn it down. And turn down its send. Yeah, when you're pre-fader, gotta be lighter with the send levels. Now I'm going to explore the range of the timbre knob here to see what it does to pluck. It looks like it does give it a bit of a timbre, so we could have a change on the tone. And what we'll do is put that over here. How about as the Y value there? Now let's see what this does to the pluck tone. That mutes it a little too much. But that might be desirable. So we'll set this knob to be able to increase the color effect, or actually this is timbre. The red one's color. I was calling them by their opposite. Alrighty, so let's hook you up here. Ooh. So sometimes it won't play the full line because of that setting. Oh, there's some variation. Maybe it's a little too much variation. So I'll reduce the amount that can be shifted. But the beautiful thing about using NutriNode is it has, basically it's like an inversion of the same pitch material, except this node for our second voice, the pluck, is not close enough to pick this up, but it has its own here. So you hear related material. Make sure, yes. Now perhaps these values over here that are giving me changes in timbre are moving around too much, too fast. So I'm going to put them on a slower BPM as well. Yeah, this channel needs a little bit of compression. But so far, seem to be going pretty well. Maybe it's send. This would be something where I'd break out like the parametric EQ and a dynamics processor for this mixer, which it does have. Like here and here. This is more of an envelope. But here's a parametric EQ. But really, I just need to change the variation in the timbre a bit. Yeah, I'm also going to hook up the yellow cable to its color. Oh, I already did. Okay, good. All right, so now let's see here. We're going to add another one of these. There's another sound here that I used before to great effect. Here we go. Yeah, I brought out the gate cable and I didn't put the ADSR in yet. So I'll hang it here for now and put the ADSR in. Edit the trigger. And then I could take the gate cable that I hung right here. Put it on there. And then I could take that and put it here. Let's hook up its audio out. There we go. Now let's put the note in, just right here. Now we're just hearing sputtering because I need to give it more of an envelope. There's our new sound right there. Craft it a little bit. All right, this varies its modulation, so that makes for a good variance to add to it. We can put that on here, the maximum X value. But put it right about there so it'll only vary between here and here. All right, let's put some wet on this and see if it blends in. I used this beforehand, but right now I'm not liking the sound of it too much. Maybe its octave can come down. Yeah, I'm not caring for it as much. So I'm going to look. Let's try this. We're still modulating over here, so let's see what we can get here. Huh. I'm going to change its modulation to over here because it's less oppressive. There we go. I'm going to revisit the mix a little bit. can turn this up, but turn down its send. There we go. All right. But we're getting there, you see. Gonna add one more element. There was a sound, wind blown, that I liked from this. I think that's what it's abbreviating. There it is. It's definitely as if the piece has taken on a life of its own now. It's connected, it's unified, but it is varied. It continually changes. There we go. We need to turn on this node and then give it an envelope. Just turned on this one here. Now this is transformed into more of like a piece as opposed to a relaxation exercise. Yeah, that can be modulated. I want to hear what I'm doing with it before I put it through the reverb. This one I don't think I'll modulate, but I think I will set it to where I like it. Okay, let's see what that adds to it. Maybe I do need it to be more upper rangey, but I like this tone. Maybe I'll add like there we go. Let's try that. This is channel 5. Here, that's better. I wonder if that tone is stuck in the reverb. Yeah, let me try and clear it. Yeah, that's better. Okay, as you hear, it's a gradual process, and I'm just doing it on the fly here, recording myself talking about it. But here's some ideas to just try and expand your reach. I mean, something like this is hanging a bit of too much of a stable tone there. And I'd have to work with this a little bit more. Some of the other things is, I need to work more with the dynamics processing. I haven't really used this too much yet. And I know it's more of an envelope than a dynamics processing. But I would like to work with it a bit to try and get some compression on some of these sounds. There is a compressor that I have that I could try out more, but basically, stay tuned. I'm going to keep working on this. Maybe I'll do one more episode at this point on this general idea to see if I can get a compressor dutifully employed so that we can eliminate some of the things taking over the mix too often when the variation brings them into like the upper middle range and makes them more prominent in our hearing. Maybe some EQ would work with that. But I'm going to keep working on this piece. In fact, I'll probably work with the original one that I had and see what I can do. But until next time, hopefully this gives you some ideas, a little exploration of these modules, and let me know what you think in the comment section. But until next time, please hit that like button. And take care and stay free.